I'm live from the backstage of PyData Paris 2025, and I'm joined here with Lucas, who just finished his talk regarding the standard array API. Maybe you can introduce yourself a bit and give us a brief summary of what you just presented.
Sure. Yeah. Hello, I'm Lucas. I'm an open source maintainer. I work on SciPy, work on Pixie, work on the Array API standard that I was just talking about. Yeah, the Array API standard is kind of this effort to unify the different array ecosystems we have in Python, like NumPy, PyTorch, JAX, Dask. Often these things, if you're using one of them, you're kind of stuck with the tools that work with that. And yeah, this initiative is really about being able to mix and match these things more easily and have like a more interoperable ecosystem.
One the common change when trying to bring up a standard is how to really bring up a standard and not just an additional way of doing things. Do you have any thoughts regarding this?
Yeah, so you definitely have to be careful and like make sure a lot of thought is put in to like making sure you have the interests of all stakeholders there to make sure that people aren't getting left out or people are going to not be able to use what you're standardizing. I think there was a lot of work even for a few years before I started working on it, where there's this cross ecosystem consortium called the Python Data APIs Consortium. And yeah, they have lots of stakeholders and they've kind of spent a few years designing this API and making sure to get input from these different libraries. And yeah, hopefully that means that it's going to be something that will last. Yeah.
And let's say I'm someone who wants to try working with standard array API right now. You presented earlier your coverage regarding the existing package. What is the best ecosystem to start with? Like, who is your ideal first user?
Yeah, so I mean, the people who can start adopting right now are the people who have maybe not so many dependencies. So if you're just relying on an array library like NumPy, then it's really easy to experiment with using different other array types as well. If you only have a few dependencies as well, like maybe just SciPy or just scikit-learn, you can also start right now because in SciPy and scikit-learn, there's been a lot of work on getting coverage of their APIs, and you can look in the documentation to see if those parts are covered. Yeah, if you have lots and lots of dependencies, it's not so easy right now because you're going to have to wait for your dependencies to work with it as well. But yeah.
And on a more personal level, I heard you were still in your graduating studies at Oxford. So you jumped into the open source world really young. What was your journey into this?
Yeah, so I started off in my first summer after my first year at university. I did an internship, which was working on SciPy and working on the Array API standard support there. That was at Quantsite Labs. And yeah, I really enjoyed kind of what I was doing. I liked it. I could sort of see that it was going to be kind of keeping to grow in the future. So I kept working just small bits voluntarily, like in my spare time. And then, yeah, I ended up becoming a SciPy maintainer and like got a bit more involved then. And then, yeah, in the past year or two, I've started going to some conferences. This is my first PyData, but I went to Euro SciPy the past 2 years. And yeah, it's been good fun.
And the work-work balance between your study and like being the maintainer of a largely used projects, how is it going?
Yeah, you definitely have to have some discipline to like focus on which emails you're going to like get stuck in to like understand and okay, this is my thing. And then especially with a big library like SciPy where there's people working on it every day, you need to like just learn to ignore some things or just say, okay, I won't have input on this. I need to let these other people decide. They can kind of own that part of the code maybe. And then, yeah, just focus on the things you're interested in. It's definitely tough doing it alongside studying when you need to kind of drop focus and then maybe you get some more time to come back. You need to catch up with what's been happening. But yeah, I've still been able to find time for it.
Really, really impressive. Maybe one final word if you were to address someone who want to start working in open source, and maybe you have your journey. Maybe you have any advice or any thought you want to share at the end of the interview.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to really get into open source is just be a user first. I think it's very difficult right now for people who just want to start contributing to open source, maybe because it sounds good on your CV or, you know, it's like a good thing for employment. It's very difficult to get started because there's so many people at that level. So the best way is to really use something heavily And then once you start using it, then you can figure out, oh, maybe I can look into how does this work under the hood. Maybe I can try and find some improvement there or something like that. That's the best way to get involved, because then when you already use the code, you then kind of understand what needs to happen to make it good. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Lucas.
Thank
you
you
very much for your talk, and just enjoy PyData right now. You can chill.
Thank you very much.